Hi, I'm John. This is my show, An American Scheme, where I'm proving that Diana Ross is Michael Jackson's actual mother. So this is a clip from a video I've made previously. It's one of those things that if I go look at the actual video to find the actual piece that I need, so a lot of times it takes a lot longer to do that. So if I can just go back to a video of which I used that piece, then I can find it a lot quicker. So sometimes I'll do that, It's not as clean or whatever, but it's there. It's got the information of what I need. So I just want you to hear this really quick where Diana Ross is explaining when she went to Cass Tech and that she says her major at Cass Tech is home economics and that her sister's major was like science and she was going to be a doctor, So the big difference, because she says she followed her sister to Cass Tech, but I do believe that her father, Fred Earl Ross, I believe that Fred Ross also attended Cass Tech too. So it wasn't just that her sister's involvement. When you find out the bigger story, you find out that the father went to Cass Tech, because with my story, what it says is Diana's pregnant and you have the father saying you're going to go to that school because you need to learn these skills and stuff like that, okay? So just listen where she says her major was home economics.
What high school did you go to?
I went to Cass Technical High School, which is a great school.
It is. Cass Tech is a famous school.
I followed my sister there because she was an A student and I wanted to go to the same high school. I was never an A student like she was. And she majored in science, right? And I majored in home economics.
Okay, so that was my real. See, and I majored in home economics. Home economics, because that's the whole thing of what I'm saying, is that at the time of which she goes to the school, that's like her parents saying you need to go there because you're pregnant. They haven't made the decision of abandoning the baby yet. Because they say that on her 14th birthday, they moved from the Belmont Street, they moved into the Brewster Douglas housing projects, and they say she transferred schools to the Cass Tech. They give you stuff. It seems like that tells you everything, but there's always so much more going. It's real life. There's so much more to understanding the real story. So, on March 26th of 1958, Michael Jackson's born on August 29th of 1958. So we're still quite a distance away from the time of which Michael is born. So in that period, you have the process of somewhere in that period, period of time there is where they came up with the plan to abandon the child. So there's the things that are going on there. And remember, when she's in the first few months, it's not like she's showing that she's pregnant. It's not like people know that, oh, she's coming here because she's pregnant. People wouldn't know. They don't know what's going on. So I found this really interesting piece of something here just right now. And it's like, what's this? I've never seen this before. Let me find which part. Okay, let's go and go here on the 14th birthday. Okay, so... Okay, this is where I'm not good at editing, so I have to do this like cheap. Okay, on her 14th birthday in 1958, her family relocated to working-class Brewster Douglas housing projects, settling at St. Antone Street, attending Cass Tech High School, a 4-year college and preparatory magnet school in downtown Detroit. Ross began taking classes. Now, this is what I wanted to say. Because everything of what you read always talks about Diana Ross becoming a fashion designer, learning fashion skills, right? And I say, no. What she told you there is that her major was home economics. And the reason that she's majoring in home economics is because she's pregnant. See, the thing about this stuff is like, see how this fits with my story. Now, when I first had this... When I first had the idea that could Diana Ross be Michael Jackson's mother, okay, that was just an idea. Okay, so when I went to search back in the true history of Diana Ross's life, okay, so when I first had that first idea, when I go back to search in Diana Ross's history, everything should not line up with my story. There should be major flaws and major things that do not line up with my story, which would show that I was wrong. But that's not what happened. As I went back and I looked at her story, I found that my story explained her real life, not the story of what they were telling you. When you inputted the information of what I'm saying and you cross-reference it with the dates of what they're saying, you'll find out that my story is the one that is explained, not their story. Their story breaks down, and this is how I know that I'm right about my story, because this is what happened. My story always holds up and has a much larger understanding and explanation and detailed explanation of the true events that are occurring, and their stories break down because they don't hold up, because they can't be explained, because they're not truly explaining the story. So it was clearly known, like, this is one of those things I'm saying, like, even if you ask the most advanced people, like, let's just say I was super duper knowledgeable of all, because I don't even know how people could think that I make this story up. It's like, if you're saying I made this story up, you're saying I would have had to have a ideas, like I would have had to have understanding of like all of Diana Ross's history, and then Michael Jackson's history. I would have already had to have had all of that knowledge. Okay, and that's not me. I'm not a guy who reads books and shit. That's not who I am. That's not me whatsoever. I did not have that kind of in-depth, detailed knowledge. I had the basic knowledge of what you get from being a basic fan, just living, and you hear their lives, you hear this and that and stuff. But like, I have a whole stack of magazines from when Michael Jackson, back in 83, 84. I have a stack. If you've seen my collection, I never read one of those magazines. I was not what I was interested in. I honestly don't remember ever reading. I was just interested in the pictures, Michael Jackson, the images and shit. I didn't really care about reading any of those magazines. That's why they're all in perfect condition. I never read any of those magazines, none of them. So that's just, I didn't read any of that stuff. I mean, there was so much information coming out, just not having to do any work. That's the stuff I absorbed and stuff. So anyways, so that's what I'm saying is like, for me to have been able to concoct this notion of Diana Ross being Michael Jackson's mother, I would have already had to have all of this information. That's what I'm saying. That's what you people are saying about me. You're saying that I'm a master, I have master knowledge of Diana Ross's and Michael Jackson and then Jackson's history. That's what you people are saying. You're saying that I had master knowledge of all of their history, and I created this story because I'm so knowledgeable. It is... It's like, that's not even close to what's going on. I simply tell you, I knew about Diana and Michael's relationship, and the very important things is what happened when Michael died. The two pieces of information, what happened is that Diana Ross did not go to Michael Jackson's memorial. And then she read that letter, which then I knew she had sent the letter, but at the time the letter was not very significant. It was just the fact that she did not attend. But now when I went back and looked to read the letter, then it's like, oh my God, you know, now you hear the words of what she's saying. But at the time it was just the fact that she did not attend the memorial, which was like, how could Diana, because I knew Michael and Diana, I mean, I knew their relationship was serious, right? But then also that Michael's will had been released before the memorial happened, and Diana was named as guardian over Michael's children if Catherine couldn't do it or whatever, right? So it was Catherine and then Diana. So I had heard that, and it was like, wow, the Diana's in the will. Okay, then when she didn't go to the memorial, those were just things that stuck in my head. Serious pieces of information that I think is a part of what spawned the idea of what, like I said, about 6 months later when I was watching Lady Sings the Blues, and I had like this vision where Michael was appearing to be, Diana was appearing to be Michael is what it was, because Diana was up there singing and doing stuff, but I didn't see Diana, I saw Michael, and I can't overemphasize, I saw Michael. It was Michael, and I adjusted my eyes and moved and everything, and it didn't go away. That's what it did it. Because usually you would just do a little adjustment and you thought, oh, my eyes were just playing a little thing with me. But I adjusted and stuff, and it didn't go away. And that's where I would like kind of say, I don't know, maybe it was some kind of vision. I don't know exactly, but it's just, it happened. I saw Michael, and then, like I said, I adjusted, and then that sparked, and I said his main part is because I had that information about her not attending the memorial, and that she was in the will, and because of those pieces of information, plus with the basic general knowledge of their past involvement in the relationships and stuff, that it sparked the words to come out of my head. Could Diana Ross be Michael Jackson's mom? Okay, and that's how it all freaking started. Just like that. So then what I'm trying to say is that at that point, it's just a thought. It's just a thought. Could that be? It's just a simple little thing. But I started to that's where I started to investigate. Like I watched the movie. After I watched the movie, I started investigating. I started looking at the stuff, right? So what happens, what I'm saying is that when I've went back and done all this investigation, now I've clearly found mounds and mounds of stuff. I was explaining the songs, all the stuff, you know, from movies like Double Platinum to the movie The Kid, the Charlie Chaplin, the movie Kid, like stuff like just crossing boundaries and just like way beyond anything that ever could have been there if my story was not true. If my story was not true, I would not have found all of that stuff that exists and the stuff of what I just over and over and over constantly, not just even like kind of being right. I'm talking about being dead on, like, whoa, oh my God, this stuff is just like everything's coming clear. Now I'm seeing that all the signs of what they left behind, that they were telling their story. There was a lot. There was so much there, right? But stuff specifically like this. And this is one of those things that I'm saying is that even if I was a world-class knowledge expert of Diana Ross, I would have had the knowledge that Diana Ross went to Cass Tech as being a clothing designer. That's the story that they were always telling. If you ever go back and, like I said, now that I've went back and looked, it's always that Diana Ross was going to Cass Tech to study clothing design, fashion and stuff. That's what, because she did do that, right? But then what happened is, like, when I read that stuff, I went back with my story and I said, no, Diana Ross is pregnant at that time. So if she's going to that school, because like how it said in the thing that she's not an A student, it's not that she was going there because she said she went to follow her sister, but her sister went to become a doctor. She tells you she was never an A student, but for some reason she went to that school, but she didn't go there to become some kind of professional, like serious person. She went there to study home economics. Okay, now that perfectly aligns with my story, that at that time she's pregnant and her dad is like, okay, you're pregnant, you're gonna have a kid, you're gonna be a mother, you're gonna have to learn how to take care of that kid. So at that moment, when Diana enrolls into Cass Tech, what would her major be if she's going to that school because of the fact that her father's saying, you're pregnant, you're gonna have a kid, you're gonna be a mother? What would be her major? Home economics. That would be her major. It's not that the clothing, that was what spawned, because after she enrolls in the school, then after they give the kid away, what she finds is that, oh, this school is a good school, and she's enrolled in home economics, but she can see the alternative courses that they offer through that home economics thing of where this comes. Classes including clothing design, millinery, pattern making, and tailoring, okay? See how those are all fashion related. So that's what happened is when she enrolled into the home economics, she enrolled into that school as being a mother, needing to learn skills as home economics. What she then learned as going to that school, because at that same time now the Smokey and Berry Gordy are building Motown, and she understands, well, I can do fashion, I can learn fashion design, something that goes technically along with the industry of the music industry and stuff. So she started, then she spun it into becoming like fashion. She started learning that stuff. She did learn that, but it starts when she starts there. Her major is home economics. It's not fashion. She doesn't go there to study fashion. It's home economics. It's different. It's the home economics. That means she was learning like cooking. That means it's not just all the fashion stuff. The home economics means that she's taking cooking classes. She's learning other skills. And all they're doing is telling you this stuff because this is where her career went, to the fashion stuff. But that's because she gets a focus that she's going to Motown. But now, here's the thing, because right here, it's the words right underneath that. Robinson loaned her the funds. That's the part where I'm like, what? When I read that, I've never seen that before. It's one of these, this is another thing. I don't know, like, how I ever missed this. It's like, I must have seen this. I don't know. I never saw this. So it says, as she had aspired to become a fashion designer. See right there, as she aspired to become a fashion designer, no, when she went to the school, she went there to take home economics classes because she was aspiring to be a mother. She had a kid. She's taking, if you're a pregnant girl and you're going to that school to learn skills of which to help raise your child, your major would be home economics. That's what she took. She went to the school to learn home economics, which then had the side, after then she abandons the child, and then she realizes, well, I'm at this school, and Berry Gordy's telling her the same thing too, you got to graduate, all this stuff. She's like, okay, I'm here, what can I learn? Fashion. And then she spun it into that fashion thing, but that's not what it is, and that's what I'm saying. See how my story holds up? My story is the one that perfectly explained this stuff. The home economics part of this is not explained by what they're telling you. They're telling you she went there as fashion, she's learning all this stuff. But when you hear her from her own words, her actual major when she went to the school was home economics. That means she's learning how to cook. There's other parts of that stuff of what she would be getting the skills of which she needs because she's going to be a mother. That's what's going on. So she also took modeling and now remember, she gives the kid away by the end of 1958. And Smokey and Berry Gordy are hooking up quick, like right into 1959. The song "Shop Around" comes out, which that's it. Boom, they're big, right? So now Diana's like, she sees them, she sees all that's going on, right? So it says she also took modeling and cosmetology classes because now she's like, okay, she's spinning it into the fashion stuff, and now she's like, she's got her eyes on. You can see that she's got her eyes and her focus is towards Motown. Because she's got that connection. After she did that stuff, that was it. She was going to Motown. So, cosmetology classes in the evening and weekends, for which Ross has written that Robinson loaned her the funds required to attend. Participate in another school that doesn't says she was in the swimming. Okay, so Ross has written that Robinson loaned her the funds required. Now Robinson, remember, Robinson's hooked up with Claudette as early as at the time where Diana gets pregnant. That's why Diana never could she wasn't able to be Smokey's girlfriend. But it's like one of those things with a young girl. She's thinking, oh, if I get pregnant, I can be his wife because he's not married to Claudette yet. Diana's going to sneak in there. I'll get pregnant. He's going to have to marry me, But what happened was Smokey couldn't marry her because Berry Gordy would not allow that to happen because Berry Gordy's trying to build Motown with Smokey Robinson. When you actually see the details, the actual events, my story perfectly explains what's going on every single time. And I've got facts, the actual evidence, like I said. There's Diana saying she was learning home economics. I've got Diana saying that she's in love with Smokey Robinson and sleeping in his house right at the time of these events occurring. It's not like I'm just making stuff up because a few words. I've got the corroborating evidence right out of the horse's mouth where they explain to you actually what was going on. Everything constantly lines up perfectly with my story. And if my story was not true, there's no way possible that this stuff could have lined up so perfectly just because I had a thought that Diana Ross might be Michael Jackson's mother. Come on! You people say, what are you, ignorant? What the fuck? There's no way possible that this stuff could have lined up this way just because I had a thought. And then I went and investigated it, and you find out that my story perfectly explains everything. Why is Smokey Robinson loaning Diana Ross money? Oh, my story would explain that. Doesn't my story explain how Diana going to the school, learning fashion, and she tells Smokey, and she knows she's coming to Motown. There's no doubt. She's working to get to Motown. There's no doubt of it. As soon as they made the deal and gave the kid away, Diana instantly, her focus is laser focused. She's going to Motown. There she starts in the Primettes. Right after that, she starts up a band, and she's always hanging around Motown. She's always hanging around, but Berry Gordy's like, I'm not going to sign you till you're 18. But then she's constantly hanging around, so she ends up being like a secretary for him. She's constantly hanging around there. That's what's going on. There's no doubt about it. But this part, it's like, okay, Robinson loans her funds, the funds required for these extra schooling that she decides to do. This extra schooling of which would fit right into the Motown scene. As she's learning these skills. She's learning these other skills because she's going to Motown one way or the other. She doesn't know if she's going to make it in a band. She doesn't know exactly what her place is going to be at that time. But now she's getting skills. She's like, well, I'm going to learn fashion. Well, I'm going to learn cosmetology. I'm going to learn, hair and stuff like that. She's in skin and hair stuff. She's cosmetology. Oh, modeling and cosmetology stuff, That's perfectly aligning right into needs of what Motown could possibly need. She's learning skills. She's getting, the craft of what she needs to go to Motown. So that's why Robinson would loan her the funds to do that, to gain further educational skills of what she might need at Motown. Yeah, now Smokey Robinson, because she's done the deal, why would Smokey be giving her money to further advance her schooling? Why would Smokey be needing to do that? What's wrong with her family? If she needs, and she's got a job too. She's working at the department store, so she could go get her own money if she wants a little extra money. She could ask her family. Why is it specifically Smokey? Not perfect, but it perfectly lines up with my story. And remember, like I said, Smokey's hooked up with Claudette. So at this time now where she would be needing this money, Smokey might even be married to Claudette. So you're just going to tell me that Claudette's just going to be like, sure. Oh, go ahead, give Diana money. Yeah, sure. It like doesn't happen like that. Women don't let men just do stuff like that. They're like on them. No, what are you giving her money for? Oh, you want to fuck her? Oh yeah, what do you guys got to relate? And then the man instantly is okay. I don't want to hear the bitching, and the man knows he's not leaving his woman. That's his woman. He don't want to hear that bitching. What do you think? He's just gonna dump his wife and shit? Come on, he's not dumping his wife. So this stuff should not be going on. Like I said, why is this here? Why is it Robinson loaned her the funds required? What? Why is that there? Constantly. Right, and see right below it again, for extra income. It says right, the kitchen, for extra income. That's because that's what I'm saying. That's the job that she worked. It says there that she was the first person allowed to work outside the kitchen at the department store. For extra income. She's got her own job. If she needs to get some extra money, go get a job. Stuff's cheap back there. It's not like she's, needing all this big money, but for some reason, that specific school, that extra money, she felt Smokey was obligated to pay that. Why not? If she had done the stuff of what she did, now doesn't my story explain why Smokey would be obligated to loan? And it says loan, but who says that she ever paid anything back? What that says is he gave her money. We don't know if, see, that's the technical stuff. It says loaned. We don't know that he loaned her money at this point. What we know by this wording is that Smokey gave Diana Ross money for extra schooling. That's what it says. We don't know that he loaned her money. We know, though, that he gave her money by what it's saying there. Why is Smokey Robinson giving Diana Ross money for extra schooling? Why would that happen? My story, again, perfectly explains everything over and over. My story does not break down. Their story breaks down. Just like everything. Why do you think that Michael Trapson won't talk to me? Because I'll break his story down just like that. There's nobody out there. Why do you think Matt's FTR is not willing to have a real conversation with me? Because I break his story down just like that. All of the work of what he thought, like his big thing was, I defended Michael Jackson from the pedophile allegations. I proved he wasn't a pedophile. No, I break your shit down just like that. Your work is garbage. Your work's trash. All of your work is based on information that is it's false information and it's insufficient data. All of your work, every bit of any story that has ever been done about Michael Jackson is based on insufficient data and false information. No doubt about it. I break all of their shit down. There's nobody that can stand up to me and nobody that I'm afraid to. Like, I go after Taj Jackson. I go after any of them. There is nobody that I'm not willing to have this conversation against. But they're not even willing to. They're, no, I refuse to even, I will not have that conversation. No. Yeah, because you're a fraud. You're a loser. Why do you think I keep calling them frauds and losers and thieves? Because that's what they are.